I'm Mathan Ramaiah. I'm the Director of Design for FHD Group. We are a design firm based out of Hyderabad. We have offices in Bangalore, Chennai and Mumbai, and also a small presence in Dubai. So this pan-India presence kind of helps us see projects across the country and also to understand design parameters across the country. Since we are established around 25 years back, there's been a huge portfolio of work that has been created, primarily in the high-end residential and multifamily residential. Those are most of the time, that's the kind of core area in which we operate. Organo has been in the process of conception for a long while actually. It's been brewing in the minds of different people, different heads in the company. Because we have worked with a lot of developers, we have collected a lot of data on how large-scale housing works. And also we have found niches in which there is a serious blind spot in how developers are approaching some of these things. Within the city, there's a lot of urban chaos that's happening, right? And people want a relief from it. So everybody who's having a good house, a private residence in Hyderabad also ends up having some escape mechanism, right? A farmhouse somewhere outside. So that's when we said, instead of having an independent farm and putting a lot of effort into it, what if we do it in a collective way? So we pitched this idea to several developers. They're excited, but nobody willing to take the step. That's when we said, okay, we can do construction. We can anyways design, that's our core area. So why don't we actually start developing, right? And let's do it in a very small scale. That's how this whole project started. The site for Organo, because it's a very large site, it is not really a clean geometry. It's almost an L-shaped site with road access, a main road access from one side on the west, is north. And there's a small village road that connects the site from the north side. So this property was pretty much an abandoned agricultural land, but all around it there was a lot of farming that was happening. So it was pretty much a fertile land within which it was sitting, but just that this particular owner was not using it for farming. So the restriction is that you can only build 10% in this land. So we said, okay, we'll keep that restriction on. We'll be completely sensitive to the requirements and the spirit of GO 111, in the sense that this will be used only for farming. Whatever we do will not contaminate the environment in it or around it. So these were the two fundamental starting points for Organo. So we said this 10%, we'll use it to only build along the perimeter. So although these are units, they are only following the perimeter, and the entire center is a collective farm zone. So this whole area became a full-fledged farm for vegetables and orchards. Obviously, we don't have cash crops. So this centrality, the lung of the project, into which everybody looks into, becomes the experience and the differentiator for the project. So the idea of everybody living on the edge of a farm, and only the roads which are running to connect are all perimeter roads, more like village streets. And the inside is completely walkable, fully pedestrianized. So you don't even feel that you are living in a large villa community. So this was the fundamental principle. So the experience of people living here is as if they open any door from any room, they are directly looking into a farm. So it's a very simple master plan, if you were to call it that. That all the units were all placed along the edges, like that. And all of them were having a significant garden in between, garden or farm. So there are places where we have made into a herbal garden, where there are around 120 herbal plants that have been brought across from all over India, and there is a lot of knowledge and information about those plants that are in there. This whole area is a farm that is taken care by farmers from nearby villages, and we have created two key attractors in this that let people use it in a certain way. The entrance opens into something called a solar pavilion in the front. And on the rear side, there is a clubhouse or an alfresco dining with gym, and so all the amenities for the community is on the other end of the farm with direct access from the outside. And it's made out of bamboo. So this is one of the biggest bamboo structures in India today. And this has a bio pool. So it's a very natural environment that is abutting this farm. So the amenities kind of act as attractors in the master plan, allowing people to move between them and also have access from outside for events and special things to happen, where the community can partake with the surrounding areas. The master plan and the project is built on 7 principles, out of which I'll highlight 4 of them. Food, energy, water, and air. So in this project, the food that's produced from the agriculture is given to all the residents, so they don't spend on food. And the farming itself is a profitable business that takes care of maintenance of the farm. So you are not spending money on maintaining the farm. So there is absolute food security that is generated first. Second is energy. Every villa is given 10 kilowatts of energy, and all of them are done through solar panels on the top of the villa. So this not only produces energy, but also shades the villa so that your passive energy requirement in the villa gets reduced. So majority of the time, the amount of energy spent on air conditioning pretty much comes down. And this energy is centrally managed because we have a microgrid and we're not storing this energy on site. And this is also supplemented by bioenergy and bioconversion. The third is water. All the water that's falling on the site is diverted through channels to 3 key water bodies. A 10 lakh liter water pond, which is actually a small ecosystem. So we are not treating this as a reservoir, but actually with fish, with plants around it. So it's a wonderful environment for people to actually use it while it becomes a water reservoir and a method for irrigation. The fourth is air. The entire community, we are doing something called earth-air tunnels. And this is an old technique that people have used in older civilizations. Basically, we take air and take it 4 meters underground in large hume pipes, let it cool down, and then take it and supply it to each and bring it back to the surface and supply it to each villa. So that way, the air actually cools down roughly 8 to 10 degrees before it is supplied to the villa itself. So combining that with the energy, passive energy solutions, your overall energy demand for the house itself reduces by 30 to 40%. And the community completely benefits out of this collective thinking of different systems that are working parallel to each other. So coming to the architecture of the project, we are trying to use as much natural materials and very open plan as possible. So the architectural form is kept very simple, but we have experimented with materials like bamboo, where the amenities in the clubhouse is a bamboo structure of 60 meters by 12 meters with almost a 15-meter span, which has never been done in India. And nobody has used bamboo at that large a scale, and it's a pretty much a nascent industry. We have used packaging wood on the elevation of the buildings as a shading device. This is something that you left with after you've packaged all the vegetables from the farm. And without treating it, we have used it, so it does weather and we can replace it. We are using a solar pavilion, which is all done using recycled wood. So in general, the architecture caters to a very natural palette, and all the flooring and hard surfaces are done with tandoor stone, which is a local material, which is available within 10-15 kilometers of the project. So the sensibility of the architecture is to ground it to the place and make it as natural as possible. As an architect, I feel generally our preoccupation is about the built space, the positive figure ground. But what is not built, generally it's handed over to a landscape guy, or it's considered as outside the domain. We want to be very inclusive about doing this. And that architecture creates an ecosystem within which people live. So it really is a collective living experience and not just about the building. That is the first learning experience for us as an architect. Second is to create a social impact to projects that are developed in this kind of nature, where large-scale projects can actually integrate infrastructure from the surroundings, like villagers who are coming and helping us. The farming itself in that surrounding areas is being converted to organic farming. And the third is testing new materials like bamboo, where the industry itself is looking at regular industrialized products rather than crafted products. To that extent, the architecture is, we are experimenting with some of these things. Even the earth air tunnel, where there is very little information today on passive cooling, is something this project is pushing towards. So it acts at all three levels: at an architectural level, at a societal level, and at a material level. So if we, in most projects, try to link all of these together, I think we can successfully create community living and living environments that people can experience much more deeply.